So hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. You already know what this is from the title. I still can't believe it happened, and I'm recording this after I did the interview. If you guys have been with me a while, you'll know that a while back I did an interview with Khary where we sat down and we chatted, and it just made me love talking to people. I've always been a big talker, you guys know this. I could hold a conversation with a wall, but interviewing people and all that kind of stuff, I don't know, it hadn't really been on my radar. And after talking to Khary, I was like, oh my god, this is something I want to do. And I was lucky enough to get to talk to so many different cast and crew members, both from The Walking Dead and from Fear. I got to talk to some crew members. It's been great. With the show coming to an end, I wanted to circle back to what started it, to what started that vein of video. And I didn't think he'd be down, but Khary is the most beautiful soul. He is so fucking lovely. I can fangirl now because he can't see me. So he was graceful enough to sit down and talk. I mean, we chatted for so long about so many things. If you guys took part in the Our TWD Stories series, then you're going to want to watch to the end of this video. Big hint. So that's enough from me, and let's just skip over to the interview. Hello, you.
Hi, Kate.
So I just have some questions about the show, some questions about other stuff. But before, are you on desktop? You are?
I am.
You are? Okay. It's just, I have a clip that I want to show you at the very end. It's on Dropbox, so I'll just drop the link into the chat at the end. Is that okay?
Okay. Yeah.
No spoilers. You don't get to know what it is till the end.
Okay. All right.
It's nothing scary. Don't worry. So.
Well, now I'm disappointed.
I could get you a link to something else if you would prefer. We can arrange that too.
I'm just I'm trying to figure out how to make this a little bit bigger so that. All right. There you go. Your face is a little bit bigger in my screen. Okay.
That's horrible news. Thank you so much. Thank you for that.
Whatever. Shut up with you. There are beautiful people in this world, and you might as well just go ahead and enjoy the fact that you're one of them. There's like people who wish they looked as good as you do, shouting at a television screen. So don't disparage your beautiful mother and pop for making up beautiful you. All right.
Well, if you'd seen me,
not have it.
If you'd seen me 10 minutes ago, I glued my fucking eyelids shut together trying to put on false eyelashes. I was like, I can't do it. So I said, we're going eyelashless.
You know, you're part of my inspiration. I went ahead. I could finally grow my hair out, but I hate my tiny afro. I like my big afro, but it's going to take 2 years. No. So I went and wove all of this into my head because you're always changing your look. I was like, I'm going out. I'm using you as inspiration. I'm doing it differently. I
was going to say to you, I saw it on Instagram, you posted a picture, and I was like, man, that looks fucking sick.
It's good that, whip at the flies, I just take my hair down and, it's just a good fly whipper.
I can't relate. I have 6 hairs on my head, but I imagine it's a nice change. So, the season 10 bonus episodes.
Yep.
It was a really weird time in the world. There was a lot going on. What was the experience like for you? I mean, I know it's a job like anything else, but I imagine because it's such a creative outlet that it's a little escape from the world.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going on to set of a zombie apocalypse show while there's so much happening in the world. So what was that experience like for you?
Well, it was nice to be back, but it was so different. Hmm. You couldn't see anybody's face except for, pretty much, Paola, Josh and Eleanor. And everybody else's faces were covered. You could barely get near anybody. It was a very weird experience. And I mean, it was good to be back, and it was refreshing. It was a bit of a breath of fresh air to be back out in the world in some kind of way, because I locked myself away, to try and kind of stay. We were living in Atlanta, and then we moved down to Sonoy. So, so we were in the hustle and bustle of Atlanta, which I love. I love all of the, the people and the energy and everything. And I love Sonoy too, but, it's a ghost town compared to, to Atlanta, especially in a pandemic, because Atlanta now, at least on my block, Atlanta didn't really stop for the pandemic, you know.
Yeah.
They were just passing around COVID like it was Tic Tacs.
Oh,
so
gosh.
so I was like, I got to get out of here. I can't stay here.
Yeah.
I love you people, but not this much. So I went down to Sonoy, and and kind of quarantined away from everybody, and so it was nice to sort of begin human interaction again. But it was it was weird, and honestly it never really been the same, because the show had always been a really social gathering.
Yeah.
Whenever someone wasn't working, there was always somebody you could have dinner with. There was always somebody sitting at a bar somewhere. Alana was always there was a restaurant pub that you could always find her kind of holding court at, and when Polly left, there were it was just so many. When Lauren left, and then came back, but we couldn't hang out like we used to. It was just very different, and honestly, I'm still waiting to celebrate the return in a weird way. It's almost like when we finally get together and have a finale party and everybody comes together, it's gonna be the first true coming together for that, and it's been in years, because even as we've been doing these season 11 episodes over the last year, it's been seeing people from a distance so much.
Yeah.
It's a little bittersweet that way, because it hasn't been quite the party that it should be.
That's something that I thought as well, because with the last season, the last season of any show is going to be big. It's going to be it's sad, but it's going to be a celebration too. You haven't really had the time to kind of process, first of all, oh shit, it's the end. And also, like you said, to celebrate. As an actor, did it change anything about how you do what you do? Like, were you kind of knocked out of it a little bit? Did you have to relearn?
Not so much. I feel like the reason I was being so careful was because when I got on the set, I had to. You have to wear a mask or a shield or whatever. But as the actors, we're the only people that didn't have to wear a mask the whole time, and which is why we were getting tested every single day. But at least I didn't have to have all of those trappings, that everybody else did, and so it was more the outside of it all, the I guess the interactive nature of it changed a little bit. I couldn't hold Nicotero in a headlock for as long as I used to. It was I would argue with Greg just to argue with Greg, because it would seem to help the process, and he said, it's so funny because he's this gory horror guy, but he is a sweet and kind of treating everybody with as much kid gloves as he can, a lot of the time. And I'm always like, no, it needs to happen this way, Greg. And he was like, that's a little too much. And I was like,
it's not enough.
Exactly. More blood, but too much this, but this is too much. And so I feel like it got, certain things did get dialed down, I guess, a little bit, now that I think about it. But for the most part, it was, at least my process of getting ready was insane. Yeah.
It sucks so that you couldn't play around like that.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah. It really did suck, and it made me appreciate Norman and his little practical jokes, and I now regret, he tried to get me to help him put a bunch of goats in Andy's trailer, like when I first got into the because there were goats in the kingdom, there were live goats in the kingdom, and he was like, "Khary, man, help me get these goats in Andy's trailer," and I was like, dude, I just got here.
You were the new kid on the block, and he was already trying to get you into trouble.
yeah. And I was like, man, I'm not putting these goats in this dude's trailer.
Jesus
And
Christ.
now I regret it. I regret it. You know, it
Hmm.
would have been a great story to tell. Hopefully one day, I'll have a chance to put livestock in somebody's trailer, and I'll owe it all to Norman.
But with the bonuses, with Splinter in particular,
Hmm.
we did see a different side to Zeke, but we didn't because it wasn't technically him. That being
Yeah,
said, I don't know, am I just slow on the uptake? It didn't even dawn on me. You were wailing on this guy, and I was like, get him! Fucking kill him! I was so on board. I looked like a
sure,
psychopath in retrospect. But getting to kind
sure.
of bring out that different side of Zeke, that darker side, that kind of every man for himself, fuck everyone else, leave them behind.
Yeah, yeah.
What was that like for you getting to explore that? And do you think that that side could still be within Zeke and could come out?
Yeah. I think it could come out. It's definitely a possible. It's always a possibility. And yeah, I honestly I should have gone further. I should have been darker. Now I hate watching back. Because I was holding back.
That was too
I
nice.
should have.
We were too
I should
soft.
have. Exactly. I should have. Fucked with Princess more, and I was like, shit, I should have pushed a little further, but
That would have given it away if you'd pushed it too far. Because I didn't pick up on it again until the big reveal.
yeah,
Because it was
yeah,
done so
I
subtle.
did the slightest because I didn't want to go overboard, but
Mm.
I wanted to do a slight, uh, uh, kind of Paola princess, accent
Mm.
when I'm sitting there with the walkers, and I did it slightly, and I didn't want to go too much. And now every time I look at it, I should have gone more overboard. I should have gone way further. There were certain moments that I was like, shit.
It's nuts to see
Yeah,
a character you know so well, but then not know at all. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, that was the cool thing about that episode is that I got to I got to not be Zeke
Mm.
for a minute, especially behind her stalking. I loved like just sticking my head
Yeah,
in and out behind her. It was like the devil on your shoulder kind of thing. It was fun to play that. That was probably the least Zeke moment, and I really enjoyed that. And yeah, and the that whole Cameron, and I can't remember his last name, but Cameron, who plays the soldier,
yeah. Hmm.
who is just a sweetheart, and he's just the cutest little baby face with his big blue eyes, and I just wailing on him, and
But it was a different kind of approach to the storytelling that you only knew as much as the characters knew at the time, and it was claustrophobic and
Mhm.
it was weird. Like you said, the kind of scenes we were just lurking in the darkness. It's like it captured the
Yeah,
story in such a way that I don't know that you would have got the vibe of the episode as well if it had been done a different way. You
yeah, I
know?
thought it was written really well. When I
Mm.
read the script, I I was, I was pissed off halfway through it because I was like, why are they writing Zeke like this?
They don't
I
know
was like, we
him.
would never do this. They don't even know. It's like they don't even know the character. I'm just
Yeah.
like getting up. I'm about to get on the phone,
Making
call
notes on the
somebody.
script.
Oh yeah, they got me. They got me real good. So I knew it was gonna play the switch was gonna play pretty well. Yeah.
This different side to him, and I think it was more for Princess's sake that I was like, yeah, Zeke, go darker, fucking kill him.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
comments I
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
under that, people were like, you were siding with like the psycho Zeke. I was like, yeah, and I still kind of am even after the reveal.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Paola was just trying to
Yeah.
take care of herself. And the thing is that we all have our coping mechanisms,
Mm.
and Princess herself can't go to that dark place, so she had to create a new persona
To do it
to
for her.
protect herself.
Yeah.
And and, you have to be wary and protect yourself just as a woman in the regular world. Imagine in the apocalypse. You know what I mean?
Don't even
Where
want to imagine it.
exactly,
No.
exactly. It's fucked up as it is. And so to me, it's like listen, every woman for yourself, and if this click in your brain is the trigger to make sure that you take care of yourself, then you use it, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm you know, it may have been slightly misplaced, but not really, because the thing is, she was on her way to getting out of there, you know. Feel like it's a superpower that she just hadn't been able to hone and understand yet, you know.
Yeah.
She needed to go to Dr. Xavier for a few years of you know, school for gifted youngsters to really learn how to use those personalities.
So you did the bonus. I don't remember when you did the bonus episodes, but you did the bonus episodes, and then going into season 11, you know it's the last season. You know that there's an end in sight. What was the vibe like going into that, knowing, all right, we have a story to tell, and now there's an end date?
You know what? I remember it was one of those few moments that we'd all gotten together. What, I can't remember why. It was but Christian Serrato started talking about how this was you know, this was coming to an end, and she started getting teary-eyed, and Jeff and I, you know, were like, oh fuck no, we got like 20 something episodes, don't start crying. I cannot cry for an entire year. And so I, you know, at that moment, it was like I decided, I was like, I am not going to start, you know,
I'm not doing it yet.
Tour. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like I stopped myself from grieving, you know, the last season, and now I don't think I still haven't, you know. It was one of those things that we ended up shooting for about a month and a half longer than we were supposed to because of COVID, and we had to, you know, we did so good for like an entire year, and then we came back from Christmas, and people started, you know, just you know, COVID here, COVID there, and it was like, oh no, we're kind of, you know, collapsing on ourselves, and it was just kind of it felt like a journey of attrition. It was like we were just trying to grab a day every day we could to get this thing done, and it wasn't like, oh, it's coming to an end. It was like,
you were in the trenches clawing through.
Let's do this, you know, we gotta get this done. And so there was never that kumbaya moment where we're all holding hands in a circle, and you know, it was just like, let's get it done. And like I say, I'm still waiting, you know, for that time. Maybe you know, when we all get together for the finale, you know, that'll be the time and the moment. I feel like that won't even be it either. It would be too dressed up to really say goodbye. We'll have to meet on a mountain somewhere, or maybe a
cry
beach
in secret.
Exactly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There needs to be that moment, you know. But you know, and I hope we find it. I think it will always feel incomplete if we don't.
I think the reason it probably didn't hit you is because it was so prolonged for you, that you found out that was it, but then you still had all this to go and all this work still to do, you know. So like that,
exactly.
You kind of had to soldier on, get through it. For me, I ruined my brother's birthday. You announced it on the day of his birthday. We were all downstairs in the middle of a party, and I was on Twitter, and I was like, fuck. And the whole day was just not the same. So maybe you're better, you prolonged it for a further date where you can just cry in secret.
Exactly. Yeah, it was because it was all a surprise to all of us. You know, nobody expected for it to be ending. Well, and the thing is that they were like, all right, you know, the show's going to be over in a year and a half from now.
Yeah.
You know, when we finally finish. Yeah. So it was very hard to gauge your emotions and reactions, and honestly, it still is. One day it's going to hit me, you know, because this show has changed my life, you know, and I know it's very lucky for me to have been on any show for as long as even for the time that I've been on the show on the Walking Dead, and I've only been on the show since season 7. And this show has lasted longer than most shows just since I've been on.
Yeah.
Thinking about the longevity of what this show means. And my life has changed. Your life has changed. So many people's lives
Yeah.
have taken drastic turns because of this story, and it's not a job that I'm very used to getting a job, working a job, and then it's like, okay, on to the next. Let's go. Because that's part of the resiliency of staying employed in this business is that you don't rest on your laurels. You don't celebrate too much. The limousine that takes you to the show, might not be there to drive you home. So you better be ready to go back to work. But this needs something more. Because it really did change the core. And I've been waiting on the. I knew this job was coming. I just didn't know how. I didn't know when.
What
I
it
didn't
would
know
be.
where.
Yeah.
But I've been working for this all my life. To play a character that can reach this many people, and that's a big deal. And as much as I need to move on, and I have moved on actually, because I got more work to do, and thankfully I've been afforded more work to do, uh, but this needs to have its place and to be enshrined, in a way that's important. I'm still looking for that, I'm still looking for it.
I can't imagine what it's like for you being on it. But it has. I did a project recently where instead of getting sad for the end, I decided to do a video series, and I was like, listen, wherever you are in the world, if you want to take part, you can. Pictures, videos, photos, whatever you want, text posts, send them in. And I throw out a different topic each week. So one was like your favorite episode. One was, when did you start watching? Who do you watch with? Favorite characters, tattoos you have, art. The amount of people who have had their lives completely, and I don't mean like, oh, it's my favorite show, I love it. I mean, their lives were changed. I mean, myself, like, this is what I do now. It's a job. It sprung so many different things. I got engaged because of the show. I met my partner online, and I can't imagine what it's like being in that bubble. And then, as amazing as it is to have other projects, like you said, the limo's still there. You're taking off to other things. I can't imagine even trying to close a chapter like that.
Yeah. It's a process that I'm far from finished. Closing. I honestly don't know how to close this chapter in my career, in my life. And so when I do, I'll let you know. But yeah, right now it's definitely a work in progress. And like you say, it's changed so many lives. And it's not just, like you say, it's not just, it's my favorite show. I love that there are millions and millions of people that continue to watch the show. But the thing that makes it special is that smaller percentage that hold on to aspects of this story, and it helps them in their walk through life. You know what I mean? And I've been, afforded the opportunity to meet so many of those people, who have struggled with this or that, be it, depression or cancer or drug addiction and all of these things. And they've and they used some aspect of this story being told as a mantra. And that is next level. That, honestly, this show taught me why I was meant to do this work. That years ago, when I was struggling as an actor, my mom was like, "Are you sure you want to keep doing this? It's you could do something else and not have to struggle so much." And I told her and this was like in my 20s. I said, I said, Mom, I just feel like I'm supposed to tell a story, and somebody I'll never meet really needs to hear it. And it's not good enough. I can't just do it in a theater somewhere where only, you know, the people in front of me. It needs to be broadcast around the world. Somebody out there. I'm supposed to tell a story, and nobody can tell this particular story like I can. And it's like, and it's not that I'm like the greatest actor in the world or something like that. It's just that there's certain ways that I empathize and sympathize and emote and connect with people. And there's certain characters that it's I can just do that differently. I can do it differently. I don't know if it's better, if it's worse, but I can do it differently, and I can make a mark on somebody. And I've always thought that for years. But this is the show that let me know that, you know what, you were right. Because a lot of those people actually came up, you know, at conventions here and there or just on the street and told me so, you know. And that's the power of a story, you know. That's why we all have this stupid box in our house, you know, that is supposed to, you know, like rot our brain cells, but the thing is that the stories that are being told, those are the things that galvanize us. Those are the things that push us forward. You know, the human element is, you know, and that, yeah, there's a lot of shit, but the human element of a really good story being told, you know, can change lives, you know, and you know, I'm a guy who comes from a family of engineers and doctors and, you know, and incredible people, you know, and
You were the arty one?
yeah. Well, I'm not the only arty one, but I've got, you know, they're PhDs, and incredible minds, and you know, when you're one of the arty ones, it's, you know, you think, what am I doing here, you know?
Yeah, I know that feeling.
But let me tell you something. You know, it's like my dad's a doctor, my brother's a doctor, and sometimes people are like, "Why didn't you become a doctor?" It was like, because I'm not supposed to. You know, I saved millions of lives by not being a doctor. Okay.
Yep.
You know, I help people by what I do, and I also didn't screw people up by trying to be something I wasn't supposed to be. You know, it's like, you know, you don't want me to, you know, cut your abdomen open and leave my keys in your, you know, appendix or whatever.
Or I'd just be pulling shit out like I wouldn't know what I'm doing. Don't.
Yeah. But man, damn it, you know, after all of these years, I realized that the impacts that we make, you know, no matter where we go, if our hearts are in it, man, you know, the impact can be huge. And what a cool fucking realization to come to, you know.
But
it's
like,
pretty awesome.
There's a lot of ways to change lives. Obviously, yes, the doctors, the medical fields. My mom works in a nursing home, so I get to hear what she does every day and what COVID was like for her. And there was like a hot second that I thought maybe I could go into that kind of field, and then I was like,
right.
I hear the story she tells me, and I'm like, I'd fuck up before I even clock in. Couldn't be me. But there,
Right.
like you said, there's so many ways to change lives and to impact people, and it does kind of feel like Zeke was waiting for you, because I couldn't imagine anybody else being him or portraying him, and I don't think it would have hit the same if they had.
I feel like he was like putting on a coat that was a suit that you get off the rack and you're like, it was made for you, you know. It was, you know, it's like they put it on you, and the salesperson looks at you and they're like, nobody just puts on it on the, you know, they always have to take it in or pull it out.
It's perfect.
It was like, yeah. I just put it on, and you know, it's almost like, you know, I don't even have to buy this. It was just meant for me. I'm walking out the door. But I've had the good fortune that a few times I've auditioned and gotten to play characters that feel like they fit me like a glove, and Ezekiel is absolutely, you know, one of those. So
It must be nice though to know that all that hard work was worth it and it paid off, and that you got to prove your mother wrong. You were like, I told you, I knew there'd be something waiting. Yeah.
Yeah. But now, Mike, to give my mom credit, she's the one who pushed me to do it in the first place.
She was supportive. Of.
Oh yeah, she was always very supportive, and she would drive me to all the places. She put me on a plane to New York City. I was doing stand-up comedy when I was like 15 years old, in New York City, because she wanted me to pursue my dreams. I think she got worried when it was just me out there on my own, and she was like, and I'm thousands of miles away, and she's worried about her son. But formatively, she was always kicking me out of the nest to go and do what I wanted to do. So I always appreciate her for that.
She sounds like my mom. She's the same.
Yeah.
Going back to The Walking Dead, what was the last thing that you did on set? Not like a dinner or saying goodbye. What was the last thing that you did for you on set before leaving?
There was a moment that I had by myself, and we were in an expansive, sort of set piece, and I had time to kind of sit and look over it all, and breathe and kind of find a little peace there. I guess that was a moment that I took for myself. I got to. I think that the moment that got to me the most was that my last day of shooting, I got to see Cooper, and I hadn't seen him in a while, Cooper Andrews. And and Cooper and I, we literally started this job the same day, and we had to hide from the world for months, and so to see him on the last day, that was cathartic, It's and one of the few moments I shed a tear, when I drove up and saw him standing there, and I won't forget that. He is and will always be a brother, and Cooper Andrews, man. I wish everybody could get to know him the way I know him, because he's a sweetheart and a big teddy bear and all of that stuff. But in the quiet moments, you can see the depth of his feeling in his eyes, and yeah.
That's kind of shit that will bond you for life, like you said, coming in together and then meeting up, that last thing. That kind of shit, that solidifies it for life.
That's it, man. Yeah, that's it. But here's to more days. I mean, that's the beautiful thing, man. These kinds of experiences really do bond you in a way that's hard to explain, and there'll be moments in my life that Cooper will call, and I have to tell everybody, I gotta go.
Goodbye.
Dropping everything.
Yeah.
Coop needs me, and you just go. Yeah.
That's beautiful,
I look forward to that day.
That's beautiful. Those kind of relationships, they're hard to find, especially nowadays. That kind of bond is not easy to come across.
Yeah.
So speaking of like lasts and the last kind of things you did you keep anything from set?
I did. I took my sword, my Captain Jack Sparrow.
They let you keep that?
Yeah, I didn't ask. I just took it.
That would have been me. I'd have been ripping up floorboards and like taking people's outfits.
I really wanted. There was this tiny little railroad spike that they had fashioned into a tiny little dagger knife, and I would wear it for years, right here in a little scabbard right here, and it was kind of like my last line of defense. You
Yeah.
know, if something was right in my face, I could pull that out and jab it into a walker's eye, and I called it Private Ryan. You know, it was my little, it was my tiny little, because the sword is Captain Jack Sparrow, and
Mm.
I had a gun that I named Major Payne. I had them; they were all little military names. So my tiny little railroad spike was Private Ryan, and I kind of hate that I didn't sneak into the armory and take that one, but I've got Captain Jack, and that's good enough for me.
You know, when I first talked to you, or the first interview that we did, I think you were still relatively new on the show. A lot of time
Oh
has
yeah.
passed. Everyone knows your face.
Hmm.
Where is the strangest place that you've been recognized?
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, it's funny. It's not that it was strange. It's just that I, I forget sometimes, especially after once the pandemic has started to wind down, and it loosens up, because I used to wear my mask just constantly everywhere. And I was at the airport just maybe like a month ago, and I was getting out of the car, and I hadn't put my mask on yet. And before I could even put my mask on, these two ladies just came running up to me. They were from Chile. They were like, they were like, we're from Chile, mama, and just, I know like a paragraph of Spanish. I don't, speak Spanish really at all. And so, but I saw the lady's eyes light up,
You knew.
while she was dealing with her luggage and her granddaughter, and yeah, yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
You can see
People
me.
recognize me. Yeah, you can see me
Yeah.
again, and it was just totally unexpected. I hadn't, I kind of forget, and even now that I've got a little a little ponytail, and I have enough hair on my head that it reminds people of Ezekiel more. When I was
Yeah.
shaving my head when I was actually on the show, and always having to shave my head because of the wig, I was just always surprised, when someone did recognize me. I was just in Atlanta walking into a mall to pick up food. Just an entire group of African guys just were like, it was like, do you know who that is? And it was like, you know what I mean? And and I was like, wait, who am I? Oh, right.
You're like, where? What?
Yeah, yeah, I was hiking in Griffith Park here in Los Angeles, and I was just coming off of the mountain, and these guys were coming up, and one of there was like seven guys, and one of them just pointed at me, and he was like, you, and I was like, yes,
Me.
me. uh, yeah, and so it still happens haphazardly, and I guess I'm still not out in the public eye. But honestly, it always still surprises me when I actually get recognized, because the dreads are so much a part of it.
Mm.
Usually I walk by and somebody will look at me once,
Double
and
take.
yeah, kind of double take. A lot of times I'll just fist bump somebody, and they'll just smile at me, and they'll be like, and I think they figure it out, like 30 seconds after
Yeah, you
I've
can hear it processing as you're like making the speedy getaway.
yeah.
So on the topic of like your face and being recognized,
Mm.
as someone who collects a lot of shit, I've seen a lot of weird shit. I've seen a lot of merch
Yeah,
that I'm like, okay, I buy it, but it's kind of weird. What is the weirdest
right.
thing you've seen your face on?
There's an artist named Scott Speedman who did this amazing portrait. He did amazing portraits of everyone, and it's very bright, and kind of a not it's darker than a rainbow, but it's like oranges and yellows and greens and blue, kind of swirled in black. And I've seen it printed so big, you know, like my face is just on a huge man's body. It's
Just your
just like
face.
yeah, just my big ass face
Yeah.
all over a dude's body. And every time it freaks me out, and sometimes I'm literally like, could you cross your arms until we finish talking? It's
I
just
can't stop
weird
looking at me.
to
It's
see me
strange.
staring at me. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And my nose is this big, just looking at me. It's an amazing picture and striking and all of that. And but I was like, and as long as it's not me, I
I
can
love it.
handle it. But man, that big picture, it's on pillows, it's on
I know the
big
exact one you're on about
t-shirts.
because I follow him on Instagram. I love his art style because I love color.
Yes, it's
So I think it's
amazing.
gorgeous. But yeah, it is. It's been, like you said, cushions. You can get poster prints, but not posters. I mean, like wall mural size kind of things. Yeah.
Exactly. Blankets.
Yep.
Blankets with my big mug on it. It's like I think we were given a blanket, and I was like, I love it. I cannot have this in my house. It's just
Outs-
too weird.
Outside of it weirding you out, I imagine if you had guests over and you just have your face on a blanket, you have a poster of you on the wall, you're like, this is my kitchen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The mirror's enough.
What was your favourite weapon that either Zeke used or that you saw used on the show? Doesn't even necessarily need to be Zeke, just be in general.
Oh, I mean, it's absolutely Michonnes Katana. It's I have such sword envy when it comes to Michonne, that woman. A distant second is Daryl's crossbow. It's just it's just cool to shoot a crossbow, but I swear to God, every time she slings that sword, it's in slow motion.
It has to
and
be, though. It's gotta
I
be for the
know.
theatrics. You gotta get that slow-mo and the sound, the whooshing.
I know, I know. I absolutely love that sword. It's funny because in the comics, Michonne and Ezekiel, she's one of the first new people that he meets in the comic book.
Mm-hmm.
She pulls out his sword, they cross swords, and he makes the joke that that hers is longer than his, and and it's like yeah, let's not get it twisted, I mean, I
Yeah.
love Captain Jack, but that Michonne's katana is just it's on another level. It's on another level.
Agreed. I don't know. A lot of people say Daryl's crossbow, but I'm like, it's big and clunky, and you see how long it takes my man to reload that thing? He's got to stand on it and pull the thing. I'm like, no.
Oh yeah,
The sword's all the way. Anything stabby, I'm like, it's gotta be.
yeah. The thing about a katana is that you've always wanted a katana since you were a kid, and literally, Denai, nobody else could wield that thing the way that Denai does. Her arms are just a little bit longer than a normal person's, and that sword is so long. Most people, with the way that it's
Yeah.
sheathed behind her, most people couldn't pull it out because their arm isn't long enough. The whole thing just works. So can you tell how envious I am? Just absolutely envious.
Little bit. The fanboy's coming out a little bit, but that's okay. I like that shit.
If you're gonna fanboy somebody, it might as well be Denai. Right.
What has been your favourite walker that you've seen, either your time on the show or any time throughout?
That pussy one in the well. The pussy one.
Oh,
You
the
remember
squishy
that one?
bitch! The well walker!
Squishy. Oh my God. I mean, just so nasty.
Yeah.
So nasty. And I mean, literally, when you ask that question, it's the first thing that comes to mind. I was like, that one is just the worst. My favorite walker kill is the highway when they
The wire.
they did the wire.
Oh.
And they took them all out. I mean, that's got to be the best. That's the best, hands down, for me. And also because literally Greg Nicotero came up with that on the day, and they reshot that thing. It's like, what the thing is, when you're shooting with Greg, you never know what's going to happen. The days are going to be long, but because he is going to have some brilliant idea that it's like, yeah, you can't not do it. That's where the magic happens.
Yeah, he's a fucking genius, man.
We're surrounded by these geniuses. Robert Kirkman, Greg Nicotero. They really are brilliant minds, and they're so when you just sit down with them, it's such a comfortable conversation. The genius that comes out of these guys, it's crazy.
That must keep things fun too on set, knowing that somebody could just have an epiphany or have a thought, and it's like, let's just see where it goes.
Yeah, no, it keeps you on your toes. It keeps you on your toes. Absolutely, absolutely. It's just another one of those things that makes the show special. The heat, the grime, the grind of it all, and yeah, and the unexpected.
You joined, like you said, in season 7. We're on season 11. It's been a long run for the show, but it's also been a long run for you. If you could go back to the day you started, the first day on set, and give yourself advice as to what either lays ahead or what you could do different, would you? And what would you say?
Oh man, I've tried to take moments to realize the magnitude of the tiny moments, that when they're going on. My first moment on set was with Lenny James, and I was and there we had pigs on set, and we were supposed to be corralling these pigs, and there wasn't any action called or anything like that. These pigs were going to come running out of this area, and we were literally going to start diverting them in a certain direction. And while the wranglers were dealing with that, it was just quiet, and we were standing, and I looked over at Lenny, and I said, "Lenny," and he said, "Yeah," and I said, "It's my first shot," and he said, "Welcome to the family, mate." And then the pigs came out, and we were off and running, and I'll never ever forget that. First of all, to be standing next to one of the greatest actors you'll ever meet, and to have the opportunity to be mentored by somebody like him, and that little snippet of conversation, it is imprinted on my soul. Absolutely. I love the nature of the show, and my only regret is that I didn't get to do more. Ezekiel's such a rich character that you want to explore more, but this is really this is Rick's story. This is and it becomes Maggie and Carol and Daryl's story, and ultimately I believe it is Judith's story, because she was conceived at the beginning of this show, and she will hopefully become a woman, by the end of this show, and in my mind, even when we're just seeing her run around as a child, in my mind, I was like, oh, we're watching, maybe a possible savior of this world grow up. That's what this really is about to me. And so Ezekiel is, as much as I wanted to delve in, there's only so much time, with these other characters, and so, but yeah, I just, every time I wasn't on set, it pained me, because I knew that my crew was out there working, and if they were out there, I wanted to be out there.
I think even if you've been on it since day one, it still probably wouldn't have been enough time. It is that kind of show that there is so much.
It's true. It's true. And that's what happens when you make a dynamic character. When a dynamic character is created, and luckily, Robert Kirkman, Scott Gimple, Angela Kang, and Greg, they helped build this thing for me, and if you, that's a cool thing to have to walk away from something, you leave them wanting more, right? And I am leaving wanting more, I think that's a better feeling than being like, okay, that's enough.
I'm done. Let me out.
Yeah, for God's sake,
Yeah.
leave me alone.
But for now, with your time on the show coming to an end, and you said that you're diving into more projects, you have more to be working
Mm-hmm.
on. Do you think that you'd like to explore more of the kind of behind the scenes or how it's done? I mean, I saw that you wrote an episode of Young Justice. Am I
Mm-hmm.
right on that?
Yeah, that's correct. I've really enjoyed. I got to collaborate on a episode for the animated one of the animated shows that I do, and I've written scripts before, and I've produced a movie before, and I enjoy those sides of storytelling, and I'm getting more opportunities to work with really extraordinary people, and so yeah. So I am looking forward to doing more writing and maybe a little producing and maybe I'll direct something when if the situation is right because I really love the interaction.
Mm.
It's such a symbiotic relationship with all of these artists, that make something come together. It blows my mind that stories so intricate, you know, end up being told well at all because there's so many things that can go wrong.
Yeah.
But when you give it time and you give it passion and and uh, and you sweat the small things, man, it can be glorious, And storytelling, it people with great talent gravitate toward it. And so, and the cool thing is that when you find those people, then it's like playing, football or basketball with great athletes. It's one thing to use your own talents, but to know that you can pass the ball to someone and watch something beautiful happen,
Yeah.
is kind of amazing, and that's what filmmaking feels like to me. Yeah.
I like that you said athletes and you didn't try and elaborate because I don't know shit about sport. You're like, sport and athletes, and I'm
I
like,
tried to keep it simple.
I appreciate it. So one last question just before I show you the thing that I mentioned. So to touch on what you said about like voice acting and all the work that you did before, I got a question from my brother of all people, who usually doesn't give a shit what I do. But this is the one time the ears perked up and he was like, "You're going to be talking to who?" So I mentioned it the first time I got to chat to you, that I knew your voice before I ever knew your face because of things like Ben 10, because of things like Teen Titans. He was obsessed. He still watches them to this day.
Yeah.
So his question was, do you have a favorite script from your time on Teen Titans, the original?
Yeah. There was an episode called Trock that was about a Starfire and who's the alien from another planet that's on the team, and there was the team was getting help from this other alien from another planet, and he kept calling her Trock or Trocky and all this stuff, but he had nicknames for everybody. And Cyborg, after she does a difficult part of the mission, he calls her Trocky too or whatever, and she gets really upset with him, and because she says that Trock that word means nothing, and what that other alien was saying is that they look down on her kind, and they say that they're nothing, that they're nothing to be valued, and so they have this intimate conversation, and Cyborg says, so this guy is calling you a bad name, and you know that if you just haul off and hit him, that he's just going to look at you and be like, "See, I told you they're all like this, And so you're trying to take the high road and ignore him, but it sucks and it's fucked up." And Starfire says, "Oh wow, do you know what it feels like to be, ridiculed just because of, who you are, where you're from?" And and he said, yeah, I do. I'm half robot. And it was And obviously it's deeper than that, because Cyborg's a black man in America, but the truth is that he is unique, and is probably looked down upon for being a freak of nature, by a lot of people. And it's one of the things that I loved about Teen Titans, to begin with, is that it's 5 characters who are all a different color. They're all from disparate places. They're all from they're all misfits, who find friendship in each other, and their differences are the things that make them incredibly special. And it's the thing that I remind my kids all the time, to continue to be different and be weird, because they're literally going into junior high and high school and stuff. And I was like, the next 6-7 years, it's gonna feel like, man, this is shitty that I'm not like everybody else. I was like, in the, after these 7 years, all of those things that make you different, make you weird, is what everybody's gonna wish they were. Because for some reason, once you get out of high school, people start to realize, oh, that's the important stuff.
Yep.
And but Truck, by far my favorite, and moment, and my the moment that I appreciate most, about that OG Titan show.
There's enough small-minded people in the world that get the spotlight, that get their platforms, that get to spew their shit. So I think we need more of that, like you said, celebrating, coming together, sharing your differences. And
it keeps you, and you get too many people who just think the same thing. You can end up like lemmings running off the cliff. The diversity of thought, and the diversity of culture and all of that stuff, it keeps you from doing stupid things, because you have to take other perspectives into account. Perspective, I've always said, is a powerful thing.
And life is too short to just do what everyone else is doing anyway.
Amen.
Boring shit. Couldn't be me. But yeah, so thank you so much for answering the questions, for talking the shit with me. I appreciate it as always. So like I mentioned in the middle of the interview, I started this series on my channel. It's over now. I think I just posted the last episode. But there was a different topic each week. But the last one in the series was, if you had a message to the Walking Dead cast or crew, what would it be? So the video itself is about 25 minutes long. I cut it down to about 3.5-4 minutes.
And here I am reacting, huh?
We did it. We got him reacting. We've come full circle, baby.
I love it.
So to the cast and crew of The Walking Dead, I just want to
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for giving one of my favorite franchises life and being a part of it. I really appreciate it.
If somehow they saw this, I absolutely love all of y'all. Like, y'all honestly have changed my life, and I have so many happy memories because of this show.
Your work has entertained millions of people for the past 12 years, whether or not we were having a good day or a bad one.
I have loved every single second of The Walking Dead. It has just given me something to look forward to.
I mean, we all have shows that we don't want to see end, but many times those are after a couple of years. Who can say that after a decade?
I started watching The Walking Dead, and after a plethora of some of life's worst events that can befall an individual, I started watching. I found something that was honest, real.
Went through a really rough time in 6th grade. I was being bullied a lot, and I couldn't necessarily fit in. It brought me some sort of comfort, and not always worrying about going to the negativity. I could watch this show without feeling judged.
And The Walking Dead has always been a way for me to get out of my head, and even when I don't feel safe at home, when I watch the show, I feel safe, which is weird. It's a show about violence, so maybe that makes me crazy, but
I've been introduced to so much new material. I'm an aspiring writer, so plays by Danai Gurira, movies including Greg Nicotero, music by Emily Kinney. I love Emily Kinney.
After a few years of watching the show, I really got into special effects makeup. I went into the scare industry, and then I moved into zombie experiences where I had a wonderful 3 years. I'm still scare acting today. So without The Walking Dead, I would not have got into scare acting, and I wouldn't be as confident.
And I built a courage, because I'm very shy, to make my own YouTube channel and just do videos talking about The Walking Dead and meeting some people along the way.
So I just wanted to say thank you for making me want to go down to Sonoy, Georgia, which I did last year. I had to see it for myself. I had to see the windmill. I had to see the wall. I had to see the whole town. I just had to see it.
This show has inspired me to create my own book series, which I have been working on for the past 6 years, which has overgone its own changes. It's called A Fate Worse Than Death, but I just wanted to thank them for giving me the inspiration for that.
We started watching in 2015. My daughter was 9 at the time. We watch it every Sunday religiously. They have been a fixture in our life for so long. Even if she moves away, we will Zoom it if we have to.
When you want to talk about impact The Walking Dead had on lives, like, it made my career. Getting to work on the 9th season of The Walking Dead and 10th and the 11th and Fear the Walking Dead, it's kind of a dream job. What are we going to do with the zombies today? What are we going to do? How our department could help and how we could help with VFX, make the show look better, be better. You're sitting in your office doing emails, and if you got bored, you look out the window and see them setting up a bunch of dead corpses everywhere.
Thank you for every single thing I've got done in the dirt, in the sun, in the sweat, in the repetition of doing your scenes, the blood, the getting hit by each other, the sadness when y'all have dinners when, you know, a cast member leaves.
I am so grateful to everybody involved. Just such a life-enriching couple of years as a result of all of these wonderful people.
I definitely feel very lucky that it's been a part of my life for the last decade plus now.
I hope it's made you as fulfilled and happy as it's made me.
This show really has changed my life, and I don't know where I'd be without it.
And they will always be part of my life.
I absolutely love everybody on the cast. Y'all have my heart, and I wish every single one in the cast and the fandom to have the best life they can.
And hashtag The Walking Dead will never die.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I know, and I've heard these stories before, but to see the faces, and this is what I'm talking about. It's like this kid in the 6th grade, this man, you know, like in his 50s or 60s or something, and you know, and they find this kinship and this understanding. Just giving somebody a safe place, man. That means the world to me. You know, I'm grateful to be a part of it, and I'm most grateful people like you guys, the people that you have on the video, you know, in giving me purpose or help me understand my purpose. Yeah, I don't take it lightly. Well,
like you said, that role was just waiting for you, and Zeke means a whole lot to a whole lot of people. So does the show. It's a happy place. Yeah. It's a safe place. It's a celebration. Even just for me, I love him. Obviously, I love Zeke. He's great. But very, very rarely do you meet an actor who you prefer over their character. It's usually the other way around. Sad as that is, it usually is the other way around. But there is just such a beautiful shine to you, and it comes through in everything you do, man. So I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you've done. Your time on the show, the blood, sweat, and tears. Taking the time to sit down and talk to me for I don't know how long. We're at like over an hour now. I'm so sorry.
No, that's all right. This is, you know what? I felt like this was one of those interviews that needed to come full circle. You know, you're one of the first people who asked me, you know, to do an interview, you know, like this, that reached out, that I saw had already become intrinsically entwined in the show. You know, you were part of my experience of enjoying the show, you know, because I get to sit there and be like, so did you like it? You know, and I sit there and I watch and it's like, oh, they like what we're doing. You know, they you know, I see, you know, I see you get buckled in to your little roller coaster car, and I get to see you on the ride, you know, that it's gratifying, to know that somebody is out there enjoying it so much, and obviously enjoyed, your reactions and your personality, but I also am really proud of you for the journey that you've taken over the course of this thing, to not rest on your laurels, not to be like, well, I guess retail is the life for me, and because I know you hated it. Some people don't, but I know that was not where you wanted to live your life, and I could see something else for you, but not everybody takes it. Not everybody takes that opportunity. Being an artist is only part of the equation. You also have to put your fear aside and put yourself out there.
Man, you were one of the first people I reached out to, and I didn't think you'd say yes. And even this time round, I thought, nah, he'll be busy, man. He'll have cooler shit to do. You made me love what I do. After I interviewed you, I got in contact with so many other cast and crew from Fear as well, and even Aaron. I interviewed Aaron. And it's what I want to do, and I'm following it. I don't know where it's going to go, but like you said, I'm buckled in, and I'm there. And you were a huge part to play in that, man. And the stories that you told about what you did before you got where you are. Thank you so much, man. You'll never know what it meant.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm excited for your future, and I'm looking forward to seeing where else it takes you. So thank you as well. And I got a feeling this is not the last conversation we'll have.
You'll just see me, you'll be at a convention someday, and you'll just see a mad fucking pale bitch barreling towards you.
You know what? I almost didn't recognize you when I met you at that convention in London so long ago, because I'd never seen you so quiet. You were, it was, and I was like, it was adorable because you were nervous, and I understand, because you're the first time I met the cast of the Walking Dead, I had been watching it on my TV, and I turned to see them all standing perfectly in tableau, and I forgot my lines, because it's like, holy crap, they're standing right there. It's like it's understandable, but I love that we can get on and have this conversation, and you're in your element. You're doing what you do now. And those moments of, we all still get nervous here and there, but I love that now we get in here and you jump right into it because it's what you do.
Cannot thank you enough for your time again, and whatever you get up to with the rest of your day, I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll be tuning into whatever the fuck your name is on. Whatever you're doing, I'll be tuning into.
I can't wait for you to see it. It's going to be great.
And that is it for my chat with Khary. I still can't believe that I've done it. I've done it twice. That was the second time. I've met him, as well in real life, and he's such a lovely person. He's so great to get to talk to, but I don't know, man. He's such a great storyteller. There's such a genuine spark that comes out of him when he speaks, and I'm just so lucky that I got the chance to sit down and talk to him. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I still kind of have the shakes. I'm like coming down off the adrenaline rush. Jesus Christ, my arms are pink today. What the fuck's going on? But yeah, that is it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to Khary for taking part. If you guys want to see more content from me, the link to my Patreon's down below. There's a whole bunch of stuff over there, a whole bunch of reactions. If you want to connect with me on Twitter and Instagram, they're all linked down below too. I'm just in a silly bitch kind of mood. I'm feeling a bit weird. I'm gonna go. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you all soon.